Arsa Zindabad. Long live Arka Rohingya Salvation Army, Arsa. Welcome everybody watching WRO TV YouTube channel. I am Muhyiddin Muhammad Yusuf. Today is Wednesday, November 24, 2021. I myself voluntarily represent Arka Rohingya Salvation Army as a goodwill ambassador. My intention is to let the world know that Arka Rohingya Salvation Army ARSA is a real and legitimate resistant defensive forces of Rohingya people. It is very important because some of the collaborators with the Burmese military junta and some misguided people are trying to disrepute the genuine Arka Rohingya Salvation Army activities as violent, miscreant and terrorist organization to the world community, which is not the truth. In fact, Arka Rohingya Salvation Army is a spontaneous response to the decade-long inhuman treatment, persecution and extermination of the Rohingyas by the successive Burmese military and civilian government, by the excessive force, by brutal military and security apparatus of the government against the Rohingya people. There is a limit of toleration. Rohingyas are also human beings. They have also the blood, same as other people, because they belong to human family. Continual persecutions and extermination by the brutal Burmese military forces in collaboration with misguided some mock people. The Rohingyas were compelled to take refuge in various countries to escape persecutions and save their lives. And among them some heroic and ferocious Rohingya youths. They have decided to face death and dignity and to defend Rohingya people. And they come in the form of resistance movement in the name of Haraka al-Yaqin, faith-based movement, which is now known to the world as Arka Rohingya Salvation Army, ARSA. Almost all Burmese ethnic nationalities are victims of this persecution and systematic extermination. But the Rohingyas who live in the northwestern region of Burma in Arakan state, who are living there for 1,000 years, and Arkanis belong to them, as other people of Arkan nationalities, are the worst victims, as victims of genocide, and those who are living in Arakan today is also having the worst nightmare and victims of persecution. Still today, they have been denied their rights. The Burmese military junta and the fellow countrymen mock still today do not fully accept Rohingyas as their fellow country citizens, and they say they are illegal intruders from Bangladesh. They are not sons of the soil of Arakan, and they have no any kind of rights as the Rakhine mock people they enjoy. That's why till today many hundred thousands Rohingyas in capital city of Arakan state, Burma, in Sittwe, they are languishing in the concentration camps under the open sky. They have no freedom of movement. They are being kept in this concentration camp, Amangla quarters as subhuman. Moreover, there are 140,000 people in IDP refugee camps too. So it is a natural thing to fight back the tyranny, the persecution, the oppression, the extermination, the gang rape, arson, looting, and killing. How the Rohingya people can stay silent? How many years they will suffer in silence? They must have to fight back. They were thinking about to have justice from the international community. The world will come and save them. The United Nations forces will come and save them. But still today they are victims. Only recently, few weeks ago, the two-story big Islamic education center in Buthidaung Township that was burned down, and many houses were burned down too. That is the current situation. So, Rohingyas have no other option. They have to fight back. All the available means. They are a small group. They are trying to defend their people. They are trying to raise their voice. So there is no any wrong. This is a justifiable resistance movement. Everybody should know that everyone, wherever he may be, wherever he may be, he must have to defend his brothers, their fathers, their people from killing, from the tyranny, to safeguard their mothers and sisters from the gang rape, to protect their settlement and villages and places of worship. This is a common sense and natural thing. The world is aware of that. That's why the United Nations made a law. The law that says right of self-determination of a people. When they were not protected by their own government and their life is in danger, and they have to rise up to resist for their survival. To say in short, the plight of the Rohingyas, the genocidal activities of the Burmese brutal military forces and the junta which carried genocide against the Rohingya people is known to the world. The International Court of Justice, the highest court of the world, and the International Criminal Court and Universal Declaration of Human Rights Jurisdiction Court of the Argentine, they have taken the cases of the Rohingyas to seek justice and to find durable solutions. So it is not a simple thing, just we are talking. We are so weak, we are so unprotected that we have no other alternative but to show our determination to face the enemies, determination to face the tyranny, determination to safeguard our people and our mothers and sisters. This is not a wrong thing, this is not a criminal thing, but unfortunately some enemies of the Rohingya people inside Arakan and outside Arakan in Bangladesh refugee camps, they have become instrumental of the enemies. They are trying to sabotage the real resistance movement of Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. So, even though the current National Unity Government, they form People's Defense Force, PDF, they are not ready to accept Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army as their partner. Why? This is sheer discriminations. We the Rohingya people want to live peacefully with other nationalities. The Rohingya people, they want to live in peace and harmony. They want to take part in ousting the brutal forces of Myanmar Online. They want to establish democracy. They want to see Burma become a model country of justice and equality based on human rights. They are the same people. But it is an irony of the fact, irony of the fate, that the fellow country people are not accepting, and they are saying the same thing. The Burmese military junta, Burmese government says. Why injustice so? Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army come into being because at least they want to raise a voice. It is not a bad organization. This is not a criminal organization. This is not a terrorist organization. Because until today in the 5 years, the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army never raped a Mog and other nationalities, women and girls and ladies. They did not destroy or burn any pagodas or monasteries or disrespect the monks and Thanga of the Buddhist population. They did not destroy any property of the Rakhine and other ethnic people. Still today, they have never killed any innocent civilians because they are fighting for the protection, for the defense, and for the survival of the Rohingyas. So anyone claiming that Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army is killing people, raping women, making bad things are baseless and fabricated and fake. This is the work of the enemies. Please be careful to these fabricated and fake news. Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army was founded on base foundation of the faith to enjoin goods and to deter bad and evils. These freedom fighters are highly versed in faith-based education and they don't want any kind of violence in the earth. Up to now, to the best of my available information, Burmese military junta led by Myanmar Online has hired some Rohingya people to sabotage Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army and to tarnish the image of Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army and to destroy Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army by all available means. They are spending millions of dollars to do this job. They want to make division among the Rohingya people, to fight each other, to make disunity. That's why a group of diaspora Rohingya people are trying to divert the world public opinions and sympathy of the international community to the Rohingya cause and to resistance movement of Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. It has been cleared by social media mispropaganda and the fake news and various kind of social media videos, blogger and Twitter. They are trying to say Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, ARSA, is not acceptable to the world by the international community and the world governments and international NGOs, because their mission is to finish and to wipe out the entire Rohingya people from the soil of Arakan. There are 3.5 million Rohingyas all over the world. 3 million has been ousted. Now 500,000 to 600,000 people are inside Arakan, and the Burmese government and the misguided fellow countrymen mock. They want to wipe out all Rohingyas from the soil of Arakan to make Arakan a homogeneous Rakhine people's own territory and a state. Instead of repatriation of the 1.5 million Rohingyas in Bangladesh refugee camps and those who are scattered all over the world to go back to their country because outside they are suffering as stateless people, refugees like and displaced people. So all Rohingyas should go back to their country. These activists and diaspora, some group of misguided collaborators are trying to vacate the land by the order of their masters, Mia Online and his intelligence forces. I condemn it, and all the Rohingya activists and peace-loving Rohingya should condemn them and denounce them and reject them who pretend to be the saviors and protectors of the Rohingya people. This is completely wrong. I don't want to mention the names. I know each and every names. I know those people who are behind this conspiracy, but I am still very reluctant, and I want to make them understand that they cannot destroy Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, which is based on concept of justice, equality, and human rights. This is the message I want to send to all those who are blaming Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army as miscreants and as terrorists. It is completely wrong. Yes, I understand. Those who killed one of the prominent leader of the Rohingya community, Mr. Muhibullah, and those who are killing the religious teachers and the students, and those who kill the resistance hero, Muhammad Hashim, commander, they all are the enemies of the Rohingyas. They are working by the instigation and direction of the Burmese intelligence forces, and some people in diaspora assist them to carry on this kind of crimes. I understand. In Bangladesh refugee camps alongside the Myanmar-Bangladesh border, there are organized gang robbers, and they are miscreants, some violent terrorists from among the Rohingyas who are being caught, and when they are being caught and arrested, they say, I am from ARSA. They are not ARSA members. ARSA members are not in Bangladesh territory. ARSA members are not in Bangladesh camp. It has been repeatedly rejected by the Home Minister Asaduzzaman and the Foreign Minister Mr. Mubin and the law enforcing agencies of the Bangladesh refugee camps again and again in the international media. If the host country who are taking care of the refugees and the law enforcing agencies, the military security forces and border guards of Bangladesh, if they say there is no ARSA members in the Bangladesh refugee camps, then how dare these activists 1,000 miles away from Arakan and Bangladesh and Myanmar border claims they are Rohingya terrorists from ARSA in the refugee camps. This is completely wrong misinformation. So I want to the world community to understand that what we heard from the Bangladesh government must be taken care of. The enemies of the Rohingya resistance forces ARSA and the fabricated fake news of those media groups, the yellow journalists, and these people who have sold their heart and soul to the enemy in rewards of some money, they are trying to destroy the genuine resistance movement of Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. That's why I want to request to the world. I want to send a message to the international NGO, international governments, organizations and world governments, particularly the United Nations, ICC, ICJ, Argentine Court, OIC, ASEAN, European countries. I want to convey a message that our Rohingya people who are fighting back with very nominal resources, trainings, and weaponries, a symbol of resistance only. The world need to help them. The world need to equip them. The world need to give moral material support to them so that they can defend themselves and they can go back to their country by themselves, because Burmese government will never accept these refugees on their demand and conditions. So I finally request all the Rohingya people all over the world who are scattered to help the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army so that they can become a viable force of defense to protect the Rohingya people and prevent genocide and get justice what they should get it from the international community. I also request National Unity Government of the Union of Burma to help to cooperate Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army in their ranks, because they are the same people, they are the same fighters in different names. I want to convey also a message to the world community and international leaders to help Bangladesh government so that they can send back the Rohingya refugees back with honor, dignity, and guarantee of the security of life under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights with the supervision of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. International community must also pressure the Burmese government to accept the Rohingya refugees as soon as possible without delaying, because the only durable solution is in the hands of Burmese military junta. So, we have to understand 1.5 million Rohingyas, they cannot live forever in Bangladesh territory. We are very much thankful to the government and people of Bangladesh to give them humanitarian shelter and taking care of these refugees. And then Bangladesh itself is suffering for this refugee population in the country. So, finally, my request to all of the international community and the Burmese population, Burmese freedom fighters, NGO PDFs, NGO leaderships, and all other resistance forces leaders to help and work together with Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army to fight back the common enemy, Miao Aung Hlaing military forces. In this way, we can restore democracy, human rights, justice, equality in Burma. Thank you very much.